Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 408th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, November 25th, 2021. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Hammond. I'll be a host today. And of course, we have the pleasure to be joined by Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, who will be once again delivering another workshop here for us. Hello, Mr. Keshe. I can hear you ready to go in the background.
Yes, good morning, good day to you, as usual. Whenever and wherever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers programs of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. About the Institute is that very soon, the Institute from what we call virtual phase will move into the reality phase as we are setting up the structure of the Institute as a teaching organization, as a what we call part of the work of what the foundation is set up to do. That the next generation will have universities, has buildings to go and do tests and a lot of other things. One of the things that which we're considering and is on the progress is in the next, most probably by January, we ask you to submit projects for research for 3 years to the Keshe Foundation. And with it, a team of specialists, a number of knowledge seekers who are versed or understand the work of the foundation will assess these projects, and then you'll be invited to bring a team together to do the research in Keshe Foundation, what we call institute buildings. In a way, from January on, the company of the Keshe Foundation Institute will invite research programs within the university. You'll be paid a salary, and the team you put together will be the same. And you'll be employed to research for a period of 3 years maximum. And we invite up to the first year contractually to 300 people. And then in the second and the third year, the numbers increases to 500 research group. And by the 5th year, we increase to 1,000 research group, which means if you had an idea, if you have a concept that it can work, and our assessment team assesses that we can support such a thing, you'll be invited in to start working. And then you get a backup of the, what we call administration of the Keshe Foundation to support you in every way to reach that point of research and development. I'm not a follower, and I don't believe in one man given a chance to do whatever in the lab as 1 year PhD, because the knowledge has to be shared, and you're asked to bring in as a team, at least 3 to 5 people each team, that you're not isolated. I'm doing one paper or doing one research on my own. Collectively, you have to bring in at least 3 to 5 knowledge seekers from around the world, be it professors, be it others, on a full-time basis into university, to the institute. We are not in institute teaching from the basics of the, what we call the technology. We want those who are innovative and they can bring and they would like to do research in any part. There is a financial setup for it that it'll be budgeted for your group in 3 years with all the equipment you need and all the salaries that you take. And then we see how the development goes. If he expands more and you achieve better results than you expected, or we see a position of change and development, you'll be put into what is normally called now as a spin-off, what we call it an additional research program, which means you'll be given the structure to just do the research, and we put a management around you to develop this into a full-scale, what we call application. Keshe Foundation has set this up in a beautiful way, and in a what we call planned structure. We hope by next September, accommodations for this in major cities like Vienna, in Arizona, in Tehran, will take shape, which means in 3 centers at least we start this process. But your projects has to be meaningful. It's not just doing something for what we call just to see if it works. It has to show it has a progress, it has an end coming. And this will be advertised right across all the universities, space institutes around the world. Knowledge seekers are not privileged just because they're knowledge seekers. We will bring in from all over the world. A budget for each project is set to take shape, 1 million, 2 million. Instead of you doing something and then finding somebody to finance it that it can go further, we reverse the position. We budget the finances for that project from day one, and the funds will be locked. You're responsible for it. This way, you don't have to worry about how things might go. With it, we have a budget. Each year, we can support so many projects. And with it, we allow from the beginning the process of the achievement to succeed, not if the results comes that we succeed. You have to make a team of at least 3 to 5 people. And then you get the backing of the Keshe Foundation management team, which is getting put together to oversee your work. You just be involved in the research and development, and the funds for it from day one will be in the account of the research group. This is the departure because we would like to achieve very fast developments for the Institute, that with it we can extract the talented one into the next steps of the further what we call the space technology development. The Keshe Foundation very soon will announce, we'll see it, and you will be dealing with what we call limited company with a full responsibility for everything else. And then the spin-off as part of our intellectual right signed with different part of the Keshe Foundation, and different companies around the Keshe Foundation will be spread into what we call application. We invite you to join the Keshe Foundation Institute as researchers. Many of you would like to do research. The fees for the what we call the salaries are in line with the management structure, which means we don't give a little as is traditional just for you to do research and have something to live. We treat you as a finished and doctorate position that you work with comfort. You can support your family. You don't have to worry about other things. Keshe Foundation has had this tradition, but now we do it directly inside and outside. We did that in Ghana when we paid the first graduates fees and wages the same and parallel to the European wages, and we ran out. So we ran into problem with the Ghanaian ministers that the students were earning more than the ministers. We go back this time, we fund and finance from inside your work. Think about it, talk to each other, and you have to be relocated, which means if you work in Arizona Institute, you have to move into an institute in Arizona with your family. I don't believe just because you do research, you have to be broken up from your family. whole fundamental of the Keshe Foundation is to make one family from the whole nations. How we break up a family for a father or a mother to go away to do a research for 2 or 3 years and commuting back and forth or whatever. This has to stop. So we work as one structure, and we consider this before we take you up. How much does it cost us to support a family? If we can bring your husband or your wife into the work of the university or institute with the talents or whatever, that you become one. And this is the whole purpose. Set the structure that way. And this is important for us to keep this ethos going. Even today, the Keshe Foundation, number of the individuals who have joined us, we brought their partners in to be able to be even a part-time, to work together, to keep the family together. And we have now a number of families now join the Keshe Foundation in this process. And it's the whole ethos of us. We are not there to make profit. We are there to bring the change, because the profit is the happiness and the way we bring the technology out and the way we can spread it. So Keshe Foundation Institute will start receiving applications from you, and we have told other people who work with us, the scientists who want to do the research or do the paper, they do it inside. And we bring them in with their teams from the universities, with their teams from the space universities and education centers. So please think about it. And you had an idea. We don't look if you had a BSc or you have a master's or you are a PhD or you're a housewife or whatever. The thought which counts in the universe is the talent which counts, and not the papers which man has made with the, what we call, ridiculous names to it. And this is vital for all of us. And we have a structure set for the university. The company is set up by the Keshe Foundation. You become part of the subsidiary of the Keshe Foundation Austria, as Austria has become the headquarters of the Keshe Foundation International work. Arizona goes under the leadership of John. In Tehran goes under the leadership of Yusuf. And the structure will set, and all that will be separately financed by the Keshe Foundation as a whole to start a new structure. In a way, whatever you do become research papers that it gets published in your name, and we want to change the condition of the work. Most of the people who work around the foundation, they know we don't work 9 to 5. We work the way we enjoy, 5 to 9. In a way, work never stops. We always are there to support. And this is the way we want to change it, because in a new cycle of life, working is a pleasure. Working is a comfort. We don't need to worry about how it is. The things, as I said, is a leadership that has to change things. And we are setting that up, and we set the structure for it to go. So if you are a person who think there is a talent or there is an idea, which we send it to 3 or 5 knowledge seekers, what you think and how you see it progress, and we get a positive answer. Then it's your job to set up your structure to join in. We see this structure to be in position by September of next year, and in a way for you to start around that time. And we have structured it, we have financed it through the Keshe Foundation and through private financing, that there is no need to wait, something might happen. I set the structure of this to see how it works a couple of years ago with the knowledge seekers, which we said we give them a budget, and I wanted to see how knowledge seekers work to each other in different groups and how they structured it. And some of these groups are very talented. I have earmarked them. We invite you to come in to work as a knowledge seeker if you want to carry on with those researchers. But this is in the coming months after the January, when we return back into full operation. As next 10, 20 days is by the Christmas, and most of the Western world goes into hibernation of getting joyful the birth of Christ. The other point that we have to bring up is the the structure of the setting 1,000 enhancement centers, wellness centers across the world. This process is in process of being completed most probably by mid-February. And then we announce so many wellness centers around the world for the following month, because we have to tune it with our what we call manufacturing production rates of all the systems. And this will go like this with 5 or 10 cities about to be announced ahead. And we mass roll. We don't just open one place and wait for the others. As fast as China Construction can build the centers for us around the world, we tell them we can support so many centers. And now we got into the rhythm of doing this. The next thing is the water-powered production systems, which many of you have seen. We started in Ghana. We had a good run of it. We understand the process. And then water purification and water directly to be used the way we tried in Ghana will come into operation. There's some about 30 factories earmarked around the world to be done in 2022. We have brought in a massive capital investment into the Keshe Foundation, and now we bring the management to control it, the financial structure to monitor it, and to see the development of the Keshe Foundation through its own institute and universities. Think about this and see where you want to be part of. We are not in to make profit. We are in to make the profit to work for all of us in different ways. In 2022, 2023, we'll start structuring the first space centers, which means what will come to be the flight path systems and the development of the flight path technology. This comes on the back end of the June, July, and finances for this has already been sorted to come into operation. The Keshe Foundation, as of 2022, becomes an international structure, and with the companies and the organizations which we have, will back to become the same. So think about it and see where you want to be. It's not that you're going to become billionaires and millionaires out of the back of the Keshe Foundation. I hope you do. But Keshe Foundation is there to make an international, what we call, presentation on this, but in very rapid understanding progress of development. On the other hand, we go back to what last night the Universal Council organized as what we call to support the 5+1 peace talks in Vienna. I'm in Vienna on a standby as a backup end of the peace talks to what we see to bring the change in support of the Iranian government, the Iranian nation, to support, to show the reality with the whole situation, not the false fabrication. And this is one of the problems that negotiators will face in how to handle the facts and not the fakes. As we said, we've seen how world leaders use pictures of the UN Keshe Foundation to create mayhem and lies and deception. And it's our job as Keshe Foundation to show the system we build is for peace and not for its being put forward by some world leaders as a tool of war. As I said to the members of the Universal Council at the meeting yesterday, up to now, we supported you. We taught you how to support your physicality with machines. And then we gave you the position to opportunity to bring the world peace, which with the soul of the wishes of the Foundation and Universal Council and the knowledge seekers, we achieved that point. Now we come back to front. I do the physical work of handling the government. It's your job as the knowledge seekers to raise the soul of the world leaders who are involved in this and behind this, to understand the merger of the new technology which changes everything. As I said last night, and I said to the Iranian officials and to the Americans in the same way, it's ridiculous when Iran is sanctioned for being put pressure on there for not going more than 3 to 5% enrichment that they might create nuclear bomb, where in the Keshe Foundation technology, we need 100% pure enrichment of any material that when we use it in space, instead of ending in A, we don't end up in B because we tank the wrong fuel in wrong energy combination. Now you understand the dilemma that the world leaders are facing, and this is where the Keshe Foundation takes the leadership in the world. We are sanctioning a nation for not reaching 3 to 5% above that they might make a nuclear bomb. The same nation in research centers is developing 100% pure plutonium, uranium, to be able to achieve perfect flight. And this is where the dilemma sits, and this is where you as knowledge seekers are not there to unite, as I said yesterday to the meeting, but to enlighten the negotiators to see the reality, the change. And then we take the next step. We've sat here for 3 days. The Iranian team has arrived. The American and the rest are all sitting here. There's going to be a negotiation that Iran will not produce a nuclear bomb. Iran never needed it because now we have a technology which we have to re-enrich. Americans, Chinese, South Americans, South Africans, every nation who's going to be developed into the space technology of future has to have the capability to produce 100% pure radioactive of high quality materials to be able to be in a space race. We cannot say we are the only one, we have it, nobody else can come into a space. With the knowledge we have brought, all the nations, because we are from every nation on these teachings, have become part of the space technology, and 5 nations cannot say you cannot have 100% pure material because you cannot go to space because we are the only one who can be. Use your monkey suits, use your what I call firecrackers and stick to it. The world has changed, and this is what I told you. We need you as a knowledge seekers to raise the soul, to elevate the soul of the negotiators to see that how embarrassing situation Iran is sitting in. If you remember, Iranian leadership this year in 10th of February released our name, my name, but in fact the name of the Keshe Foundation, as the knowledge which is used as a plasma technology that the man can go to the moon in 1 minute. So we need to raise the, what I call understanding, the soul of the negotiators, even the Iranian negotiators, that the game has changed. In this Mickey Mouse game that we are going to have something and then they say you can't have it, you're going to be punished, has to come to an end, because the reality and the fact of it is, what are you fighting for? What are our world leaders fighting for? When you sit and you see the most advanced technology is sitting within the hand, within the grasp of the Keshe Foundation, and in so many ways, what I call the new plutonium, uranium production unit is sitting right in the center of the Keshe Foundation exhibition. They are fighting for 3%, 5% enrichment. We can give you 100% enrichment. We tune our systems to produce. We tune our systems to be what I call inaccessible to produce. And as I said last night, I showed last night, we are not hoping to achieve, we have already achieved this fundamental change. And what is interesting is, as I said last night, the proof of the pudding is in eating it. The system produces, the knowledge produces materials. We can even tune to what isotopes in matter state we need. But you have to understand, in the enhancement material units, We don't make the matter to go back into a gas. We can produce the gas of the plutonium direct, which becomes the energy direct. And in reality, as we said before, all of you understood the fact that all of us as knowledge seekers have been sitting on the most advanced nuclear reactor for a space technology in what we call the Keshe Foundation. You've seen in different ways and different applications for years, the Keshe Foundation, nuclear-based total, what we call flight systems, have been sitting in the centers. We are not going to show, we are not going to have, we already have the knowledge. So we can deliver it. And this is part of what I said, and what I keep on emphasizing. The Keshe Foundation has the capability as the knowledge seekers to bring that change, to bring that beauty of the knowledge that our governments, or what I call people who think they're governing, are not deluded with 3% enrichment. What are we going to do when we produce what I call the enrichment? What are we going to do when we achieve 100%? And then do we need to dilute it to keep some people happy? Do we need to understand the process of change? Do we need centrifuges, which cost millions, and then it takes more time and millions to produce 1 kilo of the plutonium or uranium in a matter state? And then we have the beauty of the new technology and knowledge. What it is, what is important for all of us, is to understand the beauty of the new knowledge, where we bring the change, where we are in control of the change, where what we do will bring that change. And as knowledge seekers, we are responsible for it. As knowledge seekers, we are there to make sure it can be shown. The steps in development of the technology is huge. The steps in what is achieved is huge. And in so many ways, what we have is change of course. But we've done the production of materials. We've done everything possible. Now, it's the job of the knowledge seekers to enhance the soul of leaders, the decision makers, that what they are sanctioning one for very little of it, we are delivering one for a very little of it. Rick, I have sent you a video. If you can play it, maybe for the first time you see the inside fully of the Keshe Foundation Exhibition Center. And the centerpiece is the 2 Iranian nuclear reactors for the space technology development. In a way, we bring it forward, we change the position and direction and dimension that we can show the changes. And this is what we need to bring as a, what I call the program, the work of the knowledge seekers and the Keshe Foundation and us in this situation which we are in Vienna. Rick, have you received the video? For the first time,
yes.
You will see. You can play.
You want me to
please.
play this sound as well, Mr. Keshe?
No, don't play the sound. It's just
okay.
You can play the sound. It's very nice. What it is addressed to the Iranian leader, His Holiness Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran. This is a private collection which shows the power of Iran in negotiations. Go ahead, please. You can see that Iranian leadership is fully aware what is happening and what we are. This is important for the Keshe Foundation to show the power of the knowledge we carry. This is the Keshe Foundation in collectiveness of its what we call change of position in the knowledge of the man. Where you see the four nuclear reactors, which you are familiar with now, is the center point for discussion in what we call Vienna. And you can see how beautiful this center is. It's the first time what you see was recorded with Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran, Iranian leadership, to understand how we're going to hammer the new knowledge and technology. Is a beautiful center. And we wanted for the first time, you as the knowledge seekers and the Iranian leadership, and I'm sure the American leadership see the beauty of the inside of what we call the nuclear reactor, which needs the pure material, 100% pure plutonium uranium. If the Americans want to stick to 3 or 5%, how can they negotiate for the same nation let us produce 100%? Because we want to go to space with you. This is where the intellectual right comes in, where the technology in exchange for peace comes in, where the beauty of the whole structure of the change, which all of us as knowledge seekers have set. You can play it again, because I think you have to understand the changes which have come. Slowly I explain to you. You see the body enhancement unit in the background. You see the vertical enhancement unit. What you see at the same time, immediately, the 2 Iranian space reactors, nuclear-based plasma technology. You see in the background the matter enhancement unit, matter production unit. On the left of these 2 white, the steel ones, are the defense technology. This is where the Americans were wiped out in Iraq. The technology blocks, absorbs, and carries a high density field. Then, as you see the enhancement units, you see the vertical unit, you see in a distance the new brain unit, which is sitting and standing in the exhibition and ready to fly to Arizona. You see the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation in the Spaceship Center is there. If you look above on top of the pictures, you see silver domes. This is the spaceship is on top, and these are like the old-fashioned what we call rocket propulsions, which light into the what we call the exhibition center. Downstairs is the conference rooms and what we call the television center and the rest of it. We have set a beautiful center for world leaders to see, to understand, and to enjoy. You see in the background the step-by-steps, the books, the Ganses, the what we call the cup of life, the agriculture unit. The knowledge of the Keshe Foundation has been centralized in changing the world. World leaders and the what we call the members of the 5+1 will come into this building in the next few days to see the change. To understand how graceful the nation of Iran and Iranian leadership has been, not to abuse access to this knowledge willy-nilly and trying to prove their points that are superpower. In fact, the Iranian scientists are superior in every aspect in knowledge of the space and defense, but never they spoke with it. And this is part of our work in these negotiations, to show, to bring, not shame, but to bring to attention of the world leaders, while you think you're on top, you're actually at the bottom of the pit of knowledge of the space. You can still see the rockets above, and below you can see such a small things can bring such a big change. It is our job, it is our responsibility as knowledge seekers to understand the change, to understand how delicately, how beautifully we can bring that change. We can change through our knowledge and nothing else. we have to understand where we stand, not how we've been hammered that we are this and that. As one of the largest organizations in financial world wrote recently, as I said, they can write whatever they like on the internet. But we know what sits there and what has to come out. And we have the technology, we have the knowledge to push through for world peace. And we will use 5+1 as what we call the springboard for the change. You fight in the conference for 3 and 5%, you negotiate for 100% with Iran on the other hand. The two doesn't work. And there is a need for understanding. There is a need for elevation of the soul of the members of the 5+1, which is now a come to your hand. You wished for the peace, we achieve world peace. We don't see wars even when it starts a war, the governments will stamp it down because there is no weapon for it to go, because you can't even move soldiers. We went for what we call health situation to dominate. Now we see even in this picture in the background, the enhancement units for Corona and the rest. If you play this video from the beginning, you will see in the background something very interesting that maybe you have missed. If you go back and play it, when I tell you stop to stop, you see all the latest technology in the space development. And then with one flick, you might see something in a very, stop it there, you just see it on the background, a little. What we call the vertical enhancement unit, which was shown originally in the past. You see the Corona suits. If you just go back 2 seconds, you might see it. And then you just see the edge of the black vertical enhancement unit. Everything, the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation sits in the exhibition. And we sit, we change to bring the changes. We have set a scene for one of the most prestigious centers for the world leaders to come in. It has been set. And in the past few days, as I've shown you before, and I explained to our, what I call in the American teaching, a beautiful picture of a collection of how we sit, how we do things, and how we expect the things to change on the same banner, on the same structure, on the same way for many of you which might or would like to see the change. The understanding of the work of the Keshe Foundation comes from inside, from our strength of knowledge, our strength of technology, and we will bring this in so many ways to show we have no boundaries. Keshe Foundation knowledge and technology belongs to all of us, irrespective of the boundaries which man has made on this planet. We bring peace through sharing the knowledge equally, as you have seen, and many of you are aware of our work. We stand to bring the change. We stand to bring that change in a beautiful way for all of us, for our children, irrespective of borders, nationality, or race. We share clearly our knowledge with everyone, and it's your job to bring that position into the front. In many ways, we work hard, we play hard, we have paid heavily with our work, with what we've done to keep the knowledge and the Keshe Foundation, all of us, in the front. And this is what we stand for. It is what the Keshe Foundation as a whole becomes one nation, one planet, under different banners and names we have chosen to be, And how we decide to change this, it depends how much we believe in our work, that we can bring that change, that we can change the situation in a deeper way than we thought, in a very much across this planet work, that we as knowledge seekers make sure that the flag of the Keshe Foundation stands proud wherever we might work, wherever we might be, irrespective of what we are. We become the symbols of peace, we become the knowledge seekers of peace, and many people don't like it. But with the Corona situation today, nobody has a choice. We are trapped in this dilemma, and sooner or later, we will come out of it, and we will show that in so many ways, we have changed the scene. This is the exhibition center in Vienna. The flag of Iran as the center of the knowledge, not the nation, stands next to the Austrian flag in an Austrian, what we call exhibition center. We go to United States, where the flag of Iran stands next to the American flag in respect of the position. But what reads on the wall in the center explains itself. One planet, one nation, one race, building peace through technology. And this is the work of many of us. And we see the same thing in the Keshe Foundation manufacturing in Iran, where we share the same in Arizona, and then the same in China, and then the same in Mexico. And many, many more factories will come. Even in Iran, the flag of the Keshe Foundation stands next to the Iranian flag. It's taken 50 years of work to be able to see this. And very soon in the coming months, we'll see more flags of nations where the flag of the knowledge bears the flag of what are called peace. We are all, in essence, one knowledge seekers. And the collective knowledge of us brings peace to all of us, and then makes us the citizens of the universe. We sit equal in respect of the flag we stand next to. The flags are just a symbol, but what is inside us counts as one. And we invite you to raise the soul of the what are called negotiators, to see the difference between the old and the new, and how we got stuck in the old version, and with it brought many suffering and woes to many places for no reason. Hope I brought you home to see where we stand, where the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers in what I call every corner of the world stand, irrespective of flag, and what we are proud to be. You call yourself, I come from United States, from such a state. In the space you say, I come from Earth, from such an area, Iran, Iraq, China. And then would they know, can you show us what it is, where it is? How come you change so much in such a little place of such as tiny things rotating in the space? And then the beauty comes in diversity. And this is, in fact, if you look, is the beauty in diversity. We have put position that we are ready to share the technology with all nations, irrespective of color, race, and religion. And nothing puts it in a better way than what you see in Arizona. and hopefully will bring that change. And it needs the back end now, which is, as I said, your exercise to raise the soul of the world leaders and the negotiators to see how foolish is. Which end are we going to negotiate? 3% nuclear or 100% space? And we sanction Iran for 3% and we have to work with Iran for 100%. Doesn't make sense. It needs a lot of pride to be swallowed, and it needs a lot of joy to see where the change comes. In our talks in negotiating teams, Iran will emphasize on this right through with all the nations. And it's the responsibility of the Iranian negotiators to be enlightened with what they have and not get involved with the dark path of religion and what the path of belief is, like the others. I hope I brought you some understanding of the where the Keshe Foundation stands. And as we are in Vienna, pushing for the start of the negotiations to be the right way from the beginning, you support us as knowledge seekers to bring that space and time and the place. As we always said, we are proud to be correct humans. And then let's see what the rest comes. In the teaching of today, we go back. Would you like to change your screen, please, Rick? We go back to the essence of what we talked and what we set up in understanding the totality of the knowledge. Understanding that how we can bring the position of the physical dimension of the man into the position of interaction with the soul of the man, interaction with the essence of our creation. Many of you have a dilemma how to bring the soul in line with what we call the physicality. Where does it start and when does it end? In one of the enhancement units you've seen in the background, such a facility for you to know both souls is set. Is there for you to understand and see how you can connect the two together, that one is not a stranger to the other. And as part of the work of this process, it is essential to understand the process of conversion. If you understand this, you have handled half of the problems. What does this mean? You have a soul with a massive energy, like a sun, sitting in the center of your body, and it has to all the time adjust itself in releasing with a kindness to its own structure that brings the possibility that the soul of physicality can interact with it. If you've been to previous teachings, the biggest problem for our soul is to be kind, is to be, in a way, structure itself that as what we've seen on the surface of the sun, we see huge plasma explosions, we see little plasma mountains. The soul of the man continuously does this. But these eruptions and these ups and downs goes that in interaction with the fields coming from the soul of physicality of the man will give the right emotion, the right feeling in a way across the brain of the man. As I said once before, it's very complicated how this sun, this soul has to behave. This is your right brain. or this is your left brain side, looking at yourself. This has to handle the physicality, and this has to handle this physicality, because it's the way it's structured. You can imagine, on one hand, you're holding a bowl of fire in your hand, burning, and on the other hand, you're holding the hand of your lover. How does this soul inside react, and what does it produce that either one has its own emotion and own feeling? What radiation it radiates that you see and you understand. Controlling this is part of what you have to understand about the creation. Eruption on one end and joy and happiness on the other. When you can control the totality of the emotion in a balanced field, then you will create, in a way, the totality of one field with a physicality. And then you will understand the two emotions become one. And this is the time when a man will take shape to see as one. Is not two parts. It's not left and right. It's when you understand this, it's the time when you are ready to take into the next step, because this, at that point, will shine and will grow out, and it becomes one. The fields of, not the plasma of. And the interaction of these fields with the other souls will give you the what we call the emotions, the understanding, the interaction with the soul of the mother, the brother, the friend, somebody from other part of the universe, and many other things. What you call prophets of God, what we saw with Solomon, is interaction of these fields and nothing else. Is understanding this process and nothing else. It is becoming part of and nothing else. It being part of and nothing else. In so many ways, we have to be able to understand the process of creation and nothing else. And in the new enhancement unit, we are set to do this. We are set to create that condition. We are set to bring the what we call the change needed for this purpose. And this is, in a way, what we ask the Universal Council to bring the soul of the man into this position. That the knowledge of seeing the totality will bring the change to individuals. In a way, that center is the collective soul of the Universal Council, and the outside is the collective soul of the man. Now, maybe you can see how we try to bring the things together, how we try to iron out what has been discrepancies in understanding the existence of both for the man. Where the soul of physicality and the soul of the man work as one, not in two halves, not in the right and left. And this takes the dimension of bringing what you have, the physicality of the man, into the position of totality of the man. Where the physicality does not need to die, but the totality of the soul embraces it. This is what you will see many of you when you enter the enhancement unit. Many of you, there is a system here which we have not shown, and it's not in public domain to see yet, but is advertised in a different way for the horizontal units. In those units, you'll come in touch with your own soul and soul of physicality, because then you have to handle it. Then you have to understand, why do I have the cancer of prostate? Why do I have the cancer of breast? And what have I caused? What have I done to myself? Do I need the elevation of my soul, that the soul of physicality receives enough to change the dimension, that there is no cancer? Then you understand the progress, the development of how first you have to understand the composition and the way you are built inside, that you can understand how you can change the outside. The biggest problem for man is the two-hemisphere brain. And part of our problem with bringing the human race out of physicality into the dimension of the soul is the physical structure of the brain. With the birth of Mitra, we look forward to the change in the process, that the brain of the man in the due time will take a balanced shape field that is aware, and in a space will decide on this side the strength to be this shape, on this side on earth to be the man, and on this side on the planet, whatever, to be what it allows it to exist. Mankind has to learn the two-phase, two-part, the soul of the physicality interaction, what we call the creation of the emotions, has to be brought into the surrounding area of the soul of the man, that what happens the outside does not exist. This is what happens to you at the point of physical death of today, as I explained before last week. As your emotions from outside will take shape and comes forward in, and you see, and then it becomes a peaceful place. And then you see the light. It's the time when you are directly, as a physical soul of physicality, in touch, in front of what I call your creator. And the choice is very simple: to become again the soul of physicality within the structure, or allow the soul of the man to exist and bring the soul of physicality within it. And then in the future, how you want to manifest yourself will come from this point. This understanding the knowledge is the process that we elevate the soul of the physicality to become mature enough in the strength to be able to accept, to become part. And then go back and read the paper written about interatomic fusion, where it's not about atoms, it's about how you can bring the soul of physicality inside the soul of an electron to become part within the structure of the new, what we call proton, to create a new dimension of life. And we think that mankind is ready for this transition. We think mankind and selected numbers gradually will phase through this, and we'll see beyond it. There are a few souls around the foundation which have reached and are about to reach that point of maturity. And they will see, and through them, they'll ignite the totality of the change. In a way, we have brought souls to teach you. and these souls are amongst you. These souls will come because they know they are part of the soul and interaction of soul of Mitra. And they become the teachers, some of them silent, some of them verbal, some of them combination of the two. The time of Gans making and nanocoating and understanding the Ganses and the plasma fields was to bring you to this point. And then when you come to that point, the interaction of the fields of your body, it dictates to you how you manifest, you change the plasma to the matter state. Conversion and transition between the matter states and energy. The what we call maturity of the man. The end of the what we call the final day, when a man matures to the totality of one, conversion of the two. Not in matter state, but in a state of understanding the totality of the knowledge. The process of elevation of the soul of the physicality to see the soul of the man through the enhancement unit has already been said. It depends how much of it you need. It depends how much of the reality you have to face. If you remember, I used to tell you, go back to some of the teachings, especially those of you who've been in the medical teachings, where always we said to the people that use our technology for their wellness, when we used to give them the system, they always used to say, how long do I have to use it? And we always said, you will know when the time comes. And after a few weeks, after a few months, when they used to come and they say, sorry, I have a problem, I forgot to use it. Or this week I forgot 2 or 3 times to use it. To them was something they did wrong. But to us was that the soul of physicality was elevated to the point that they didn't need the support of the systems anymore. This is the time I said, it's okay. Don't worry, you can bring the system back and we destroy it. Because we brought the soul of the man in a dimension of his physicality to be elevated, that the soul of the man could not see any fault with it. It was elevated enough. Those days, we used to use magnets. Nowadays, you use Ganses. And today, you use the fields of your own soul. It's the same fields, but according to your intelligence, you release the knowledge. Physical magnet, dimension of the Ganses. Now, the dimension of the fields on their own without Ganses. Because you've seen one, you build trust in the other. When you go into the enhancement unit, we can still create those volcanic eruptions within one part or the other if we decide so, because the soul of physicality needs adjustment through the brain and the emotion, that it all becomes one. When you travel the depth of the space and you come to those who have matured in the dimension of physicality, you see a very strange structure. And when you are reporting that you've seen what we call very thin bodies and whatever, or very thin structures, when you look into their physical brain, they're very, very nicely set. It's all one. And when they release the fields equal, the shape becomes very different. And because of the gravitational field of the Earth, they take this shape. And if I change the field next door to them and they walk into it, because I change the dimension of this, the soul will take a new dimension and shape, and you will see it. It might become like this. It's not a magic, it's understanding the interaction of the fields. And many of you will have that problem. Now, maybe for the first time, I can explain to you the fish tank. There, I explained before, maybe you understand when I said, when I drop a drop of water into the water tank, you shall see the fish. I don't drop a drop of water off the physicality. I drop a plasma of the soul of the fish, and the water and the shape of the tank will create the fish. Now you understand. I can drop soul of the man within the water, and you shall see the man shall be created from it. Because the strength of the soul of the fish is different than the strength of the soul of the man. That's all it is. It's not magic. It's understanding the way the magic is done, the science behind it. This, in the New Testament, is called the resurrection. I can resurrect you anywhere. The salinity of the water is the salinity of the womb of the mother. It has no choice but to create the man. The salinity of the water here is the salinity of the fish. Sweetwater fish or ocean fish have different salinity. Now you understand how I've been telling you for years. I've been carrying a box of creatures with me because I did not make the creatures. I allowed their souls to be created and where they want to be. For the body of the man to exist with the atmospheric condition of this planet, it needs a specific salinity, and with it, it manifests itself black, white, Chinese, yellow skin, white skin, and the rest. And this is what the man needs to understand. And this fish tank, in so many ways, if you understood it fully, is the fish tank of the universe. The way in the different salinity of the body of the man, you get kidney and the others. In the salinity of the universe, you get different creatures according to the interaction of the conversion of the fields to observing condition or detection condition of the man or the creatures at the point. When something is invisible to you, it's very visible to me because my eye has a different salinity of water in it that liquid decides. When we see cataract, when we see people who look their visions, they lose it or change it, it's not because just that. is the water salinity inside has changed, that the structure outside has changed to fit it. It's like, as I said, you change the temperature inside, you get the moisture on the wall, or you get the ice on the window. And it's the same. When we reverse a cataract, all we do, we change the water within, salinity of the eye. And then because it changes, it doesn't need that blanket. If you understand the knowledge, the rest is there to be done. I hope I shared some knowledge of the creation with you, and gradually you as knowledge seekers will translate this and transfer it and comprehend it and share it with the others the way they will understand. Thank you very much for the teaching part of today. And Rick, if you want to go on a break, then we come back. And today we have Casimir as the head of the sales of the Keshe Foundation, to show you some things that are set up for the Keshe Foundation's, what we call, for the New Year package for those of you who believe in the path of the Christ. Blessed name. Would like to go on a commercial break, and if Casimir would like to take over on it, please.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. So we'll be back in a few minutes and listen to Casimir. Thank you, everyone.